Now, this one's a little interesting too. So Dustin Jacoby said to my man, John Hianco, shout out John Hianco, did a great interview with him earlier this week. Jacoby believes, or at least off the top of his head, I would have to fact check it. Homie, has there ever been a fighter who is a former UFC veteran that got cut, went their way on the regional scene, got back to the Contender Series, won, got a contract? I'm not talking I'm not talking former, like Daniel Jolly was in the UFC, fought on the Contender Series, but he lost, right?
Right.
Has there been a guy to get cut, come back? Julian Erosa. Right?
Julian Erosa, yep.
Bang.
That's what I was gonna say. Yep.
Bang.
Julian
Yes.
Erosa, yep.
And shout out to my man John Hianco. Like I said, great interview. However, they both came to the conclusion that if there was another guy, there was maybe one more. Julian Erosa. That's right. Regardless, so this is a really interesting one for the reasons and parameters that we just discussed. If you are not aware of who Dustin Jacoby is, you could make a case just when you scratch the surface. Dustin Jacoby, of any fighter that's come on the Contender Series, you could make a very solid case. Nobody that has walked into the Apex or the Tough Gym to fight on the Contender Series has seen the motherfucking killers this guy has in kickboxing and MMA. Let me just read some of these off, okay, that Dustin Jacoby has fought. Right off the bat, Alex Pereira, who is in the kickboxing circle known as just a complete and total murderer, i.e. the guy who knocked out Israel Adesanya in Glory, fought him. He fought for 2 world titles in Glory, fought and stopped Carl Robertson in Glory, has wins in MMA over Cody East, Andrew Sanchez, and Tim Williams, who all fought in the UFC. Lost on his first UFC stint to Chris Camozzi and Clifford Starks, right? So what does he do? Goes over to Bellator. What normally happens when guys get cut from the UFC and go over to Bellator? The competition gets easier, right? Bellator says, psych, throws him King Mo and John Salter. So this dude, like I said, you could make a very, very comprehensive case. No fighter that's fought on the Contender Series has had the murderers across from them in their past endeavors like Jacoby has. And I think that's a serious feather in his cap. What say you?
Yeah, you said it. He's got all the experience going for him. And I like his chances here. I really do.
Me too.
I just think that he's the much better striker on a technical level. I think he has the potential to hurt.
Forgot he fought Tony Lopez too, man.
Yeah, he's fought the who's who, and I see the improvements out of him. Like you mentioned, a pre-UFC career. It's like the guy or the first UFC tenure. The guy's improved so much since then, especially like the takedown defense, which is where most likely, the opposition here will look to get him down. And I would just say the most of his opponents in general, just because being that he is a good technical striker. You mentioned the kickboxing. So Flores here will try to get him to the ground. Flores trains at Team Elevation. His wrestling though is like all relying on like strength and power. Like
you talk about Flores,
right?
Bingo, yeah. Totally, 100,000%, and aggression and just full-fledged like zombified going forward, kind of like how Olynyk does, where he'll come forward and he's throwing haymakers not to land them, but just so he can get close enough to you to where he can start to put pressure on you.
Yeah, and I say that because like I just can't see Flores beating Jacoby in a strikers battle. The guy's way too tough.
Absolutely not.
But Flores, he's big, he's strong, he's aggressive when in top position. I think Jacoby probably gets his hand raised here. I think he probably could get it done via stoppage. He's not like a one punch KO kind of guy in general. He does have some power, but typically
crafty.
Crafty, methodically, technical at range, use a good footwork, and kind of just wear on you down the stretch and kind of win due to excessive damage down the stretch. So I think Jacoby probably wins and gets his hand raised and gets a contract here in what should be a good fight for the time that it lasts.
And what a story that would be, right? Here, some eye-popping things too, right? Fun fact, Flores, in his third professional fight, how would you like to be a fighter, right? You're 2-0, everything's great. You're going to be a UFC champion in no time, right? You could fight King Kong in a fist fight, right? Promoter calls you, hey, we got a fight for you. Oh, okay. Who's against? Oh, just this guy named Jeff Neal. His third pro fight, he fought Jeff Neal, and yes, indeed, he got stopped by Jeff Neal. But I mean, Dana White even said it himself the other day in the interview with Brett Okamoto. He said number 10 at welterweight is Jeff Neal. We all know how good Jeff Neal is. Here's my point. That fight was at 170. This is a guy who used to fight at 170, fighting a guy who has been in the ring with Cody East, who is huge. He's a former welterweight fighting a former heavyweight. This is a guy, Flores, 26 years old, has not seen the type of opponents Jacoby has. However, given that he's only got a regional background, 50-28 combined opponent record. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. But 232, 134-1 for Jacoby. 367 combined fights in his opponents, and that does not count kickboxing or boxing. That is insane.